The day I hit rock bottom, the world seemed to fade to grey. It was as if the vibrant colours of life had been drained away, leaving only a bleak, monochrome existence. It was a cold, harsh reality check, a culmination of years of bad decisions and wrong turns. Every misstep, every poor choice had led me to this desolate point. I was lost, hopeless, and completely alone. The isolation was suffocating, a constant reminder of my failures. The weight of my mistakes crushed me, leaving me gasping for air in a sea of despair. I had nothing left. My past haunted me, and my future seemed non-existent. My dreams were shattered, my spirit broken. The ambitions I once held dear were now just fragments of a distant memory. It's hard to pinpoint the exact moment everything spiraled out of control. Was it a single event or a series of small, seemingly insignificant choices that led me here? Maybe it was the constant pressure to succeed, the fear of disappointing everyone around me, the relentless pursuit of perfection that left me feeling empty and unfulfilled. Or perhaps it was the nagging feeling that I was living someone else's life, a life I never truly wanted. The expectations of others had become my prison. Whatever the reason, I found myself at a crossroads, paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. The path ahead was shrouded in darkness, and I was too afraid to take a step. The easy thing to do would have been to give up, to let the darkness consume me and accept defeat as my fate, to surrender to the darkness and accept defeat, to let go of any hope and allow myself to be swallowed by the void. But deep down, a flicker of hope refused to be extinguished. It was a small, persistent light that refused to die no matter how much I tried to snuff it out. It was a faint whisper in the back of my mind, urging me to fight, to claw my way back from the abyss. It reminded me that even in the darkest times, there is always a glimmer of hope, a chance for redemption. My childhood was far from idyllic. It was a time filled with uncertainty and fear, where every day felt like a battle for survival. Growing up in a broken home, I witnessed firsthand the devastating effects of poverty and addiction. The constant arguments and the feeling of helplessness were my daily companions. The constant instability and lack of support cast a long shadow over my early years, leaving me feeling lost and alone. I often found myself retreating into the darkness of my room, trying to escape the chaos around me. School became my escape, a sanctuary where I could lose myself in books and forget about the chaos that awaited me at home. The stories I read transported me to different worlds, offering a brief respite from my reality. As a teenager, I desperately craved acceptance and belonging. The loneliness I felt was overwhelming, and I yearned for someone to understand me. I fell in with the wrong crowd, seeking solace in fleeting friendships and empty promises. These relationships, though temporary, provided a sense of belonging I had never felt before. My grades plummeted, and I found myself on a dangerous path, teetering on the edge of despair. The weight of my choices began to crush me, and I felt like I was spiraling out of control. I made mistakes, hurtful choices that I would regret for years to come. The arguments with my parents became more frequent, and the guilt of my actions weighed heavily on my conscience. But even in my darkest moments, a small part of me clung to the belief that things could be different. I would sit under the street lamp at night, dreaming of a future where I could break free from my past. I yearned for a better life, a life filled with purpose and meaning. I began to seek out inspiration, looking at motivational posters and creating a vision board of my dreams. I just didn't know how to make that dream a reality. The path ahead seemed unclear, and I was unsure of which direction to take, but deep down I knew that I had the strength to change my destiny. The turning point came unexpectedly, disguised as a simple act of kindness. It was a moment that seemed insignificant at first, but it held the power to change everything. I had hit rock bottom, feeling utterly lost and alone. A friend, noticing my despair, reached out a helping hand when I needed it the most. He offered me more than just a place to stay. He provided a warm meal, a safe space, and a listening ear. It was a gesture that spoke volumes. He didn't judge or condemn me for my situation. Instead, he simply offered unwavering support and encouragement. His presence was a beacon of hope. That small act of compassion ignited a spark within me, a glimmer of hope in the darkness that had enveloped my life. It was a light I hadn't seen in a long time. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, I felt seen, heard, and understood. It was a feeling that began to mend my broken spirit. It was a turning point, a moment of clarity that would forever change the course of my life. I realized that I had the power to change my circumstances. I realized then that I wasn't alone in my struggles. There were people around me who genuinely cared. There were people who believed in me even when I had lost all belief in myself. Their faith in me was a lifeline. That realization gave me the strength and determination to start picking up the pieces of my shattered life. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with resilience and hope. The road to recovery was long and arduous, filled with setbacks and challenges, but I was determined to turn my life around. I started by taking small steps, focusing on one day at a time. I reconnected with my faith, finding solace and strength in prayer and meditation. I discovered a passion for writing, pouring my thoughts and emotions into words. Writing became my therapy, a way to process my pain and find meaning in my experiences. I started sharing my story online, connecting with others who had faced similar struggles. Through writing, I rediscovered my voice and my purpose. I realized that my experiences, however painful, had shaped me into the person I was meant to be, and I knew that I had a story to tell, a story that could inspire and empower others.